You'll see Leon and I laughing because we are back with you all. We just had a technical difficulty, but we're pushing through it. Today, we're going to be talking about single stock ETFs. Some of you all may be familiar with them. Some of you all have never heard of ETFs, and some of you all swear by ETFs. This market has been extremely rough. You've heard some of the, I'm going to do air quotes, gurus come on and say the market is falling, move everything to an ETF, it'll save the world. Some people believe it. Some people were like, you know what, I'm just going to stay where I am. Some people aren't even in the market yet. So if you are not in the market, number one, this is not the time to run away. This is actually the time to run toward. If you are familiar with Warren Buffett, he always says he runs where the crowd is running away from. I'm really summarizing. He says something different, but that's the basis of what is. I know you're about to correct me, Leon. I know you were like,
I was like, that wasn't the exact quote, but yeah, it's all good.
So, do you want to give him the exact quote?
So I don't know Warren. I don't know his, but I know Wayne Gretzky's. And Wayne Gretzky says he skates with a puck.
The hockey player.
Yeah. Totally. I was saying, he said he always he goes with the puck is going, not where the puck is. So he's always trying to go where with the analogy of the market, you want to go where the market is going, not where it currently is. And at some point, this market will resume higher. So I'm sitting on the sidelines, especially now. I mean, just real quick, totally side note from what we're talking about. The market, I would just say, the market is putting in what they call a tradable bottom. And all that means is that the likelihood, not saying it won't, the likelihood because we've already dropped 23-ish%. The likelihood we drop another 23% is extremely unlikely. Of course, there's always that possibility. We could drop another 5 to 10%, and that'll be in line with historical norms. So say all that to say that we're probably near-ish the bottom, and based on what the Federal Reserve says about interest rates and the rate at which they're going, the rate at which they're going to continue hiking rates, they'll be done relatively soon. And relatively soon means probably the first quarter of next year.
Next year, yeah.
Yeah, well, even more specifically, the first quarter of next year. So, if you're not in, or if you pulled out of the market before, and you've been sitting on some profits you had the last couple of years, I mean, we have some of the largest companies on the planet, Microsoft, Apple, Home Depot, Lowe's, IBM, you name it, are down 20. Some of the semiconductor stocks are down 50-60%. And it was crazy is, I remember back during COVID when things were flying through the roof, everybody was like, oh, I would love, I would back up the truck, if I can get NVIDIA down 20-30%, if I get Microsoft down 20-30%, well, here's your opportunity. And a lot of people have
the question is, was NVIDIA, right? People he just said NVIDIA, that is not a household name. So
true.
What's NVIDIA? Yeah,
NVIDIA. So NVIDIA is is probably the most important semiconductor stock on the planet. Because
whoa, buddy.
You want me to say it again? On the planet. I'll say it again.
You're saying above Taiwan Semiconductor?
No, I said semiconductor stock. I didn't say so there's a difference. NVIDIA is a semiconductor. They produce semiconductor chips. Taiwan Semiconductor is the manufacturer of those chips. So in the realm of manufacturing,
okay, I got you.
Yeah, So to Brent's point, that distinction is good. So Taiwan Semiconductor is the Taiwan Semiconductor, for anybody that doesn't know, is probably the most important company on planet Earth.
I agree.
And there's a reason why, I don't know if anybody follows politics. There's a reason why China wants to grab a hold of Taiwan. And there's a reason why the United States is somewhat, at least jawboning, protecting Taiwan. One of the biggest reasons is Taiwan Semiconductor, because they are by far the largest manufacturer of semiconductors on the planet. Apple uses them, Microsoft uses, just name it. Everybody uses, anybody who AMD uses them, IBM uses, everybody uses Taiwan Semiconductor. So if China was to invade Taiwan and take over Taiwan, they would then get a hold of Taiwan Semiconductor, and that would be a problem for everybody on the planet. So there's a reason why the U.S. is really, really it is one reason. I'm not saying it's the only reason. This is one reason why the U.S. is really, really backing Taiwan. So we got off on a tangent there. But so back to the point is here. You heard it from me now. I think we're putting in we're putting in a bottoming process, unless something aliens come tomorrow, or God forbid, Putin drops a nuke. I would say we've probably put in the bulk of the losses in the market. Another 5 to 10% is possible, but I don't see another 20+%. Again, unless a really crazy thing happens. So
and also too,
if you're not in it, now's the time to start putting some money to work.
For those of you all who are like thinking, okay, so why do we care about semiconductors? Just to go back a little bit, semiconductors are almost in everything that has a current in it. If it has an electrical current in it, semiconductors are part of it. When you start talking about supply chain issues, part of that is going to be related to semiconductors. When you talk about the slow of manufacturing of certain cars, they had to shut down entire manufacturing plants because they didn't have enough semiconductor chips. Like, they are a huge part of our lights now, especially if everyone with the these Nest phone, doorbells and these smart homes, semiconductors are controlling your life. And so if you really don't know the importance, ships, these ships carrying cargo, new ships being built, everything that carries an electrical current and has some form of rudimentary intelligence has a semiconductor in it. So, you might have heard Leon and I go on a tangent. If you just, tuning in, go back and listen to the banter if you like. But the reason why we keep pausing to kind of clarify these pieces is the fact that these pieces are really important. And if you're an investor and you don't understand when Leon, all this started with Leon saying things are on sale. And that is a very important point Leon made, because there were people who said, you know what, if I would have known what I knew in front of COVID, I would have backed the truck up. But, what Leon was saying. What are you doing right now? Why do we do these lives? And this is my rant for a hot second. You all think Leon and I need to do this. We don't. And I know that may sound rude. It may sound a little egotistical. I don't mean it that way. Anybody that knows us should know we don't mean it that way. We truly do these lives because we want to bring information to some of the people who otherwise wouldn't know. How many of you all knew in November? And I'm going to give Leon a shout out. In November, when Leon was on the live and he said, everybody, we need to take a serious look at your portfolio and move to more secure investments and move away from speculative stocks. How many of y'all were on for that? I would love to see hashtag replay, put a 1 in there if you're on now, drop a 1. How many of y'all were on for that and actually did something? I bet you won't see too many ones. But what happened after November? The reason why we're talking about the drop in the market right now. So it's October. Leon just gave you some information that's very important about the market. Next October, we'll see who listens. So yes, I apologize, Leon. I got you off your groove, but please.
Oh no. Oh, hey, it's all about the realness. Just one last point on the semiconductors. This will kind of give like how important they are and where we're going. So we all know EVs are now becoming the standard for cars, right? Tesla, Ford is changing their whole business model around EVs. So is GM. Tesla's the leader.
And Buick. Well,
and GM, Buick, yeah. Everybody. Volkswagen. Everybody. Yeah. So here's the thing. In each EV, there are upwards of 300 different semiconductor chips in each and every EV. Now think about that. Just about every car on the planet right now is going to be replaced with an EV over the next 20 years. So think about, I don't know how many cars are on the planet, but I would imagine billions, maybe hundreds of billions. So if inside of each one of these new cars that's going to replace all these billions of cars has upwards of 300 semiconductors in it, and that's just one industry. That's just the EV industry. We're not talking fridges and computers and laptops and toasters and everything.
Yeah. Yachts, cameras, cell phones.
Yeah, everything has a chip in it. Vacuums. I have a vacuum sitting in front of me. A vacuum have chips in front of it. So EVs are just one example of how important semiconductors are. Again, each EV has electric vehicle has upwards of 300 semiconductors in it. That's why semiconductor stocks they're down anywhere from 30 to 50% right now. Now, we're not saying go out and buy them. We're not saying that at all. All we're saying is there's something you want to look at. They're down. I mean, they're actually I believe the worst performing sector this year are semiconductors after being I think the best performing sector last year. So again, Nvidia, AMD, Intel, Taiwan Semiconductor, all of them are down 30 to 60%. So just FYI, something to look at, something to think about. All right, so now what we're talking about today are this new asset class called single stock ETFs. Now, the word ETF is misleading because we all know ETFs have baskets of stocks, right? You know, like if you buy a technology ETF, it'll typically have like, 100 stocks in it. And you kind of get that, it gives you diversification. You know, they're really good for diversification. Single stock ETFs are just based on one single stock, right? That's why it's called a single stock ETF. But what the cool thing about them is, so they're good and they're bad, right? So the cool thing about them is they provide leverage to single stocks, right? So what do I mean by that? So right now, if you buy, I'm gonna use Tesla because that's the example we use. If you buy Tesla and Tesla goes up 1% today, if you buy the stock of Tesla, it goes up 1% today, you only make 1%, right? You only make, what the stock does. The reason why people love options is because you can buy an option in Tesla, and if Tesla stock goes up 1% today, the option may go up 3 or 4%. So options provide you leverage. They give you more bang for your buck in versus buying the stock. Well, single stock ETFs give you that same leverage, but instead of buying options, you just buy it's just like buying stock. So Tesla is one of the ones that has a single stock ETF. The symbol is TSLL. Cool thing about it is if you buy TSLL, and let's say today Tesla goes up 1%, TSLL, the leveraged single stock ETF for Tesla, will go up by 1.5% or 1.5%. So it'll give you leverage, right? It'll give you a little more return on your money than just buying the stock. So again, TSLL, that's a symbol. It's a leveraged ETF for Tesla on the upside. So if the stock goes up 1%, TSLL will go up 1.5%. It's leverage. Now, the cool thing about it is there's a single stock ETF for Tesla that will profit if Tesla goes down. And so Brent and I will talk about, we heard talking about shorting a lot. We don't bring it up a lot because it's inherently dangerous. Brent and I don't think we would ever short stock naked or just short stock outright. I do shorting in options. I do shorting in options, but it's complicated, right? So you have to learn options. It's a whole different deal. But single stock.
And I just for disclosure, I have shorted naked, so I have done that.
But not something you do regularly. Like it's not.
Not regular.
Yeah, because it's risky. So but what single stock ETFs do? They give you the ability to short stock in the same way you would buy a stock, right? So for example, the ticker symbol for Tesla's stock that gives you exposure to shorting is TSLS. And the way this works is if Tesla goes down 1%, you'll then gain 1% in your account, right? So and it can be a little confusing. So just know that when you're shorting, when the stock goes down, you profit from it. The problem is if you just buy Tesla stock outright and you do what's called short the stock naked, it's really, really, really risky. And then, like I said, to short stock via put options in the options market, it's complicated. If you want to short Tesla right now, you just simply go on the market and buy TSLS. Tesla goes down 2%, you make 2%. Now, here's the thing though. Here's the catch. Not a catch, but here's the difference about it. These are very, very, very short-term positions, right? So what happens is every day. So let's say tomorrow morning you go out and you buy TSLL for Tesla, which again will give you, if Tesla goes up 1%, you'll make 1.5%. Let's say you buy that tomorrow. By the end of the day, or at the end of the day, that stock is what's called has a reset, right? And what happens is the next day, if you stay in that position, the next day, instead of making 1.5% of Tesla goes up, you may make like 1.1%. So what I mean is that every day that you're in that particular position, you'll lose a little bit of gain each day. So these are really, really short term. They're really only supposed to be in it for one day. So if you buy TSLL, the way to add leverage to a Tesla position, if you get in it in the morning tomorrow and Tesla goes up 1%, you'll make 1.5%, and then you want to get out of that position. And then you want to get back in it the next day. So, or again, you can stay in it overnight for the next day, but you'll lose a little bit of those gains each day that goes by. And so for me, I don't know if I would actually buy the TSLL because I mean I could because it just seems like a lot of work. Yeah, but if you do want to get exposure to Tesla when it goes down, I am a fan of TSLS because again, now to try to profit from when the market drops, it's really hard for retail investors. So this will give you exposure to the ability to profit if Tesla drops. Like today, after the market, Tesla was down because they came up with their earnings, and their earnings were basically in line. I think they may have missed on a few things. They missed on revenue, but they were in line with everything else. And the stock was down about between 3 and 5%. Had you gotten into TSLS before the market closed and then rode it overnight to tomorrow, because I'm pretty sure Tesla stock would be down in the morning. You could have grabbed some of that loss in Tesla because the stock went down, and you would have made a gain from the stock dropping. So that's where TSLS can give you some benefit because it gives you the ability to short stock without a lot of exposure, because the most you can lose is the amount you pay for the TSLS stock. So there's not really any risk outside of if you put $100 into it, you can only lose $100. So that's what single stock ETFs are. If you buy it on the long side for TSLL, if Tesla goes up 1%, you'll gain 1.5%. If you buy TSLS, you're profiting when Tesla goes down, and you'll just make that same percentage. So if Tesla would have dropped 1% today, you would then gain 1% from Tesla dropping in one day. And remember, you want to be out of these within a day to a day and a half from when you get in to get the most bang for your buck in the market. So those are what single stock ETFs are. Make sure now I just talked about Tesla, but there are ones for let me see. There are also ones for Tesla.
You're looking. Okay.
Well, yeah, Tesla, Apple, Coinbase, Nike, Pfizer, PayPal, and Nvidia. Right now, all of those have single stock ETFs. I don't know the ticker symbol for all those. I just know Tesla. That's the example I use. If you Google it, it'll pop right up. So if you have interest in any of those, just Google the name of the company, single stock ETF ticker, and it'll pop up. So that's what single stock ETFs are.
Yep. And for anybody who's still wondering about these, Leon said they're new, and they're like new.
New.
I think they hit
literally. Sorry, real quick. They launched within the last 3 months. So this is a brand new product out here. So but like everything else, remember that they have that reset when you say every day. And there's also something that's called, just real quick, something that's called counterparty risk. And I'm not going to get too much into it, but just understand that the company on the other side of these, one that's actually selling it to you, if they were to have an issue, fail, bankruptcy, whatever, there's risk there too, because that did happen. Now it's very, 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 very rare, but that did happen during 2009 when Lehman Brothers failed. A lot of companies, a lot of people that had investments with companies that provide what called counterparty risk did lose money. So just know that is a risk. But with these, the banks are a lot stronger. You're only in these for a day and a half. So counterparty risk is very rare. But just want to put that out there. Yeah,
and for those of you all who are thinking well, then what do we do with it? Are we day trading? Are we not day trading? It's already been a number warning from the SEC and FINRA about these types of investments being casually invested in by retail investors. They suggest that you should be a sophisticated investor, meaning you have about 10% of your portfolio is needed money, put it that way, and you've been in the market for at least 10 years. So, and normally I think with sophisticated investor, they want you to have over 100,000 in annual income. But the warning has already been out. It's not suggested that you go into these, but SEC regulations, we're not endorsing or saying stay away. We're just telling you some of the information out there. It's suggested that these are not long-term investments. So you should enter them with some type of strategy in mind. That's our suggestion. Again, whatever feels suitable to you, you should do. But we are here to give you information to make you an informed purchaser of these types of securities. And they are new. So when Leon says new, he means 3 months or so in the US market. I want to say I first heard about them in the European market in about 3 years ago, but they were not in the US market. So do your research, do your homework. If you're an options trader already, you might not need something like this because more than likely you have your own strategy that you implement. If you are a retail investor, you thought, oh, that sounds cool. Let me get in. Have a plan, have a reason, have an idea of what you want to do and accomplish in this investment because that's going to be important. This is new to the U.S. market. So we're probably the first organization at our level that you've heard talking about it. So with that being said, good job, IEA. So Leon in the research, no one can beat Leon's research. No one. So if you have questions, please feel free to send us the questions. We'll answer what we can. If you are still thinking about joining Investor Education Academy, please go to IEAnow.com, join our community. We have information like this, and we dive a little deeper inside the platform. We answer the questions from our members as much as we can, and we would love to have you as a member. Going into 2023, a lot of you are going to have those goals. Get hold of my finances, start investing, invest more of what I'm already doing, have my accounts reallocated. All those things can be addressed inside of Investing Education Academy. And we hope to see you there. We will see you in 2 weeks, not next week, in 2 weeks because we're now on a bi-weekly schedule. Have a good day, and we'll see you all.
Remember, we owe them 2 things.
Oh, we do. What do we owe?
So we owe 2 stock picks, or stock or crypto picks. And as everyone should know by now, our stock and or crypto picks go exclusively now in our membership community. So anyone who is currently an IA community member, you will see those posted tomorrow morning by about 10 o'clock. So all IA community members look for that by 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Again, it'll be either stock and crypto or 2 stocks or 2 crypto. We'll decide between now and the morning time.
Yep. Everybody, thank you for being with us, and we will see you in